Hello and welcome to another midweek edition of Championship Predictions from the OnSport podcast. I'm Craig Sarge, and with me as always is Mr. Daniel Cody. Let's have a quick recap what happened at the weekend. It was a very good weekend for Mr. Daniel Cody. 2 perfect scores for him. One came in the Friday night game between Huddersfield and Peterborough, which ended 3-0 to the home side, and Fulham's 2-0 win at Craven Cottage against Blackburn. No perfect scores on my side, just a hit point here and there. Daniel Cody has more points here and there as well, but he wins this weekend by 9 points to 5. So let's get on with this midweek edition. There are 6 games. Most of these games are pretty much catch-ups from earlier postponements, and we start off with Barnsley versus Stoke at Oakwell. Barnsley lost 2-0 to Derby in a relegation 6-pointer. Stoke lost again 1-0 at home to Blackpool. 3 straight defeats now for the Potters.
It is, yeah. 3 in the league, 5 without a win, 6 in all competitions if you include the Palace Cup tie. It's not a good time for Stoke. And there are a lot of questions popping up now about Michael O'Neill and some of the players that are reintegrating. Because in theory, they're getting some of their full-strength players back and it's not having an impact. Barnsley, much the opposite. I mean, you predicted a Derby win, but it was more a chance aim. Because Barnsley had been brilliant in a few games beforehand. And look, Derby scored their only 2 shots on target, but Barnsley back to that sort of lack of clinical edge. Having said that, if Barnsley win on Tuesday night, they're 3 points behind Reading with the same games played, and it then really hots up at the bottom. I want it to happen from a neutral point of view because Stoke have got nothing to play for and we want more entertainment. And there's every chance it will because Stoke have been diabolical. But then the Championship will throw this up and Stoke will go and win 3 or 4-0 or something. But I'm going to go sort of with heart over head here. I'm going to go for a Barnsley win because I want the bottom to hot up. I don't think it's going to be thrilling. It's always low scoring in midweek. 1-0 Barnsley.
Yeah, Stoke lost again. Another poor performance. Blackpool deserved to win. I don't know what Stoke got to do now to pick up points. Not ideal for them. They are literally just trotting along now with the rest of the season. They can't go down. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs now. And mid-table, it seems to be the way for them. But going down with a whimper, really. There's still loads of games to go, but at the moment, going down the whimper. Barnsley lost the crucial game. They had to win this one. Didn't win this one. Disappointing, really. But they now obviously got a hunt again. Playing a Stoke team out of confidence as well. They could sneak it. They really could sneak it. I'm going to go by 2-1 to the home side. I think Barnsley might do it as well. Right, next up, it's Blackburn versus Millwall at Ewood Park. Blackburn lost 2-0 to Fulham and Millwall won again. They won 1-0 at Reading. So Millwall, 5 straight wins now for them. Blackburn, another defeat.
Yeah, I don't think this one's quite as worrying though, is it? It's against a Fulham side that will win the title. A side that had blown them away by half time and then just played a training session second half. So completely understandable. But if you take out that QPR victory, it is still a pretty poor run for them. And it's another game without a goal, which is starting to become an issue. I mean, I don't think they've actually scored from open play in their last 6 because the only goal was the free kick against QPR. So long time since they've scored from open play. January, in fact, was the last time. Millwall, do you know what? They were the second best team for large parts against Reading. They had less efforts. They had less efforts on target. They didn't have a huge amount of the ball, but it was a classic away 1-0 win. And Millwall, you know what? It's a good time to be the form side, isn't it? They're 3 points off the playoffs. All of those teams have got 1 or 2 games in hand. I think they're going to be right in that mix, but we said it at the weekend. There's always a day where Millwall dip. I think this one is going to be an awful game, and I'm going really low goals. I think Blackburn are going to be strong defensively. I don't think they're going to score. I'm going 0-0.
Oh, I'm going 1-1, but leaning towards the Millwall winner. Blackburn, I watched the Blackburn game against Fulham. Poor first half. Kaminsky howler for the first goal. Second goal, was it Wilson? Yep, little dink over the keeper. Yeah, it was very good, very nice. But they were better in the second half, Blackburn. Had that disallowed goal, which cost me the 3 points in that game, which gave you the 3 points in that game. But it was the right call by the officials. But they gave it a little bit better. I think Fulham did what they had to do. Got the goals early in the shop a little bit. And Fulham were the right team to win that game. But it's another defeat for Blackburn. They've peaked early and luckily, there's going to be teams that are going to play each other in the playoff race. So it makes a little bit of a cushion there for them. But I'm going to go 1-1. It'll be a tough away game. Millwall in fantastic form as well. Kept 3 clean sheets out of the last 5 in those victories as well. So it will be a tight game. But I'm going to go 1-1. Right, next up, it is Bournemouth. They're at home to Peterborough. Bournemouth lost 2-1 late on against Preston, and Peterborough were absolutely hopeless. A 3-0 defeat at Huddersfield. That Bournemouth defeat late on, and Scott Parker getting sent off. A little bit of a panicky moment there.
Yeah, Adam Smith getting sent off as well, which will have an impact on them on the pitch. And very interesting to see it going the other way, isn't it? Bournemouth have been the late specialists in recent weeks, along with Coventry, and it went the other way for them there. 89th minute winner, 91st minute red card, and then Scott Parker as well. But it's still in their hands, albeit they have dropped out of the top 2. They come up against a Peterborough side that are, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but they're abysmal on the road. They are absolutely abysmal. 9 goals scored, 48 conceded, 4 points out of 18 games on the road. They're bottom of the league. I think they're the one side, I don't know about you, that we can write off now. I know we've said it before about Barnsley before they went on the run, but Peterborough for me are the only one I can't justify staying up at all now. They haven't scored in 3 games. I know one of them was a cup. They've scored 1 in 6 in all competitions. They're letting in goals galore. The Grant McCann bounce hasn't come along. It's going to be comprehensive for Bournemouth. They need it as well. I'm not going to go massive, but I'm going to go 3-0. I was tempted by 4, but I'm going to stick with 3 because it's midweek.
Yeah, Bournemouth obviously they obviously caved in this week. Probably the fans might a little bit of a moan, considering obviously got the game in hand. Bournemouth, they've got the games in hand. Don't get me wrong, but you got to win those games. If you want to be in the top 2, you got to win those games. Huddersfield in fantastic form at the moment. There's other teams like Middlesbrough, your Forest, your Sheffield United, your Lutons, QPRs, they're all around them. So they've got to be careful. Bournemouth as well, any team in the playoff picture, you've got to be careful. You don't want to be on that little bit of a run. No, they won 4 out of the last 6. That 2-1 defeat is not ideal. Peterborough, they gave up after 10 minutes. The game was over. Yeah, I know obviously Huddersfield unbeaten 19, but yeah, that was painful to hear that they were 2-0 down after 7 minutes. Absolutely painful. And yeah, I have to agree that they're gone. They're gone for me. And I think we did predict them to go down anyway, but luckily it was only 3-0 because it would have been quite embarrassing. They did get back into the game a little bit, but it clearly wasn't enough. I'm going to go 2-0 to Bournemouth in this game. Right, next up, it is Coventry versus Luton at the CBS. Obviously, Coventry lost 3-1 away at Swansea, and Luton, you were there, lost 2-1 at Middlesbrough. Obviously, Harry couldn't score late on, cost you 3 points there. Bad day at the office, really. Bad officials, bad injuries, and bad goals to concede.
It was just a bad game, to be honest. Middlesbrough weren't great either. It was just everyone was bad. Everyone was bad. Look, Luton weren't helped by the fact that when you lose all 3 changes to injuries and you can't make subs to try and impact the game to get back into it, it's always going to be difficult. You ended up with players in ridiculous positions. The right wing back was centre half, the centre forward was right wing back, etc., etc. Obviously had an emergency loaning goal, didn't cover himself in glory. His distribution was poor and letting a soft second goal, I think it would be fair to say. And it's where stats can be deceptive because Luton have more shots on target. But until looking earlier today, I would never have guessed that in a million years from watching it. Cameron Jerome probably should have been sent off, if I'm being honest.
No, I don't think it was a red.
And
forget the biasness. I think it was because both players had their legs up high.
I can only say, I haven't seen replays. I saw it live, and immediately we were all there going, "How on earth has he not been sent off?" So it's the perception in the stadium. It's a similar situation for Coventry, really, because they lost 3-1 at Swansea. They're letting the only 3 shots on target against. They had more shots on target, but it still wasn't an inspiring display. And ultimately, of the top 11 or so sides, Coventry and Luton are the underdogs, budget-wise, to get into that top 6. And this game could be the decisive one in making that count, because one of them could potentially end up in the playoffs at the end of the day, or Coventry just outside. I want to say Luton here, but Coventry, they've just started to pick up their home form again. A win and a draw in the last 2. Screw it, I'm going biased. 2-1 Luton, last minute. Coventry are going to get Coventry.
Coventry are going to get Coventry. Well, I can safely say it's not going to be 5-0 like it was in the reverse fixture. Yeah, I'm Obviously, Luton were poor. I'll start with Luton. Yeah, it was frustrating. Is it the same referee that did the playoff final against York? Because he was hopeless.
Yeah, I think it was.
I think he was hopeless, and he gave some really weird decisions. Like you got just weird decisions. I think it was weird for both teams, but
it was just poor game management, wasn't it?
It looked very poor. Coventry, yeah, they'll be disappointed. I think Swansea were there for the taking, really. But do I go bias or do I go to say Luton's away record recently has been pretty poor? I'm going to go 1-0 to Coventry. Big game, Chris Wilder derby, Sheffield United versus Middlesbrough at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United drew 1-1 with Nottingham Forest, conceded very late on, and the Middlesbrough beat Luton. So let's talk about Sheffield United Forest. I generally thought it was an excellent game, and Sheffield United weren't great at all because I thought Forest deserved to win.
Yeah, it was a good result, to be fair. It was an interesting game. Sheffield United have been a little bit patchy recently, to be honest. A couple of draws, then a couple of good wins, then a defeat, and now a draw again. Have they peaked too soon? They had that great run at the start under Heckingbottom. Is it just sliding away? The recent performances haven't been quite as good, but they've still got that goal threat. They've got Billy Sharp. They've got Sander Berger. They've got so many talented players. And Borough, again, we talked about Luton being poor. Borough weren't great either in that game, but they did enough. They got the 3 points. Their home record's exceptional. Their game management is very good, which explains a lot of their narrow victories at home in particular. Very good when they're a goal ahead, slowing the game down, taking the momentum out. And they did that well against Tottenham in the Cup the midweek before as well. But away from home, Borough have been shocking the last couple of games. Defeat away at Barnsley, defeat away at Bristol City, letting in really sloppy goals. And I have to bank on a Sheffield United home win because of that. They're not big goal scorers. Again, it's midweek, so there's probably not much in it. I'm going to go 1-0 again. 1-0 Sheffield United.
I think for Luton's and Blackburn's sake and Bournemouth's sake, really, a draw between these sides would be ideal. This is a really tough one to pick. Really, really tough one. Sheffield United have been all right. They weren't great against Forest. Forest deserved more than a point, in my opinion. And obviously, Forest was a penalty as well. Borough, yeah, it weren't great. I thought they probably was a little bit leggy from the midweek as well. Obviously, played extra time against Spurs. I'm going to go 1-1. I think Championship favourite scoreline 1-1. I can't separate these two teams. I really can't. Final game. It is Swansea versus Fulham at the Swansea.com stadium. Swansea beat Coventry home 3-1 and Fulham won 2-0 against Blackburn. Fulham still unbeaten in the last 6 games away from home. Do you see it being 7?
Unbeaten, certainly, yes. Swansea are coming into some decent form results-wise. They've not been brilliant. They didn't dominate the Coventry game. They scored their only shots on target, but probably the last 2 games is the most ruthless version of Swansea we've seen. They beat Coventry without having tons and tons and tons of possession for possession's sake. So slight signs that there's evolution going forward, and they are decent at home. But Fulham are so good on the road. I mean, they've played less away games than everyone else, and they've still got the best away record in the Championship points-wise. A 2-0 victory for them after a shaky display against Cardiff, but I just think the way Swansea play out from the back, unless they change their style completely, Fulham will nick it high off them multiple times. And when you've got people like Cabano and Wilson and Reed doing that, you're talking about players who are quick, who can find the pass, and I'd bank on there being goals. So I know this is probably unexpected, and I've not gone for a Championship's favourite scoreline the whole time. I'm going to go for a big Fulham win. I'm going to go 3-1. I think this will be the game of midweek, but I think it's because Swansea will play into Fulham's hands.
Yeah, to be honest, Swansea won the last 3 home games since that Luton defeat. Fulham obviously unbeaten the last 6 away from home. Saturday, Fulham were fine. First half, they were good. Second half, didn't really have to do much. Had to soak up a little bit of Blackburn pressure, and obviously he had this is our goal, which is why it probably came at the right time for Fulham just to calm down a little bit of nerves. And Nico Williams shooting from the halfway line, which I'm not a fan of goals like that, but hit the bar, so I prefer that better than scoring the goal. And he was unlucky, to be fair. Yeah, I think it's going to be tighter than most people think. Obviously, for them running away with the league now, I think we can both safely say that they've won the league. I don't know about you, but yeah. I think they've won the league. Or 2 positions already. I'm going to go by 2-0 to the away side. Let's have a quick recap what we have predicted for this midweek. I haven't gone for any team that scored more than 3 goals. It's always midweek. I'm always going to go tight. And Daniel Curdy's got Fulham and Bournemouth to score 3 goals. And he's gone for 3 home, 1 draw, and 2 away. And those are our predictions for this midweek edition of the Championship. Do you agree with us or disagree with us? Let us know in the comments and give us your prediction. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the Honest Football Podcast, and you can follow us on Twitter at HonestFootball3. And we'll see you next time.